Welcome to TMZ Live. The Nolan Wells independent autopsy results that came out yesterday, I feel like were disappointing for a lot of people around the country who are watching this, because although Ben Crump did mention that there was this red coloration in the back of Nolan's head, there wasn't a lot more that came out of it. And the reason we're talking about this today is because in the absence of any real information coming out, all that the autopsy, the examiner could say is that the manner and cause of death is still undetermined, pending further investigation. And we are still waiting on the results from the official medical examiner down in Mississippi. In the absence of any information, what's happening is you have a lot of people putting theories out there. You have a lot of people putting their opinions about a lot of children, not children, I mean they're young men, that nobody really knows. The people in that community know them, but around the country, people have formed opinions and they are putting them out there online. Some people are posting them on all sorts of platforms, and it's creating a lot of anger around this case. There's anger where people feel that the investigation is not going forward the way they would like to see it go. There are people who are angry about how some people feel about the case. That a lot of people, I've heard the word race baiting used, the phrase race baiting used a lot. Harvey is not here. Obviously, he is shooting a special that we're going to have coming up on Fox in prime time. But before he left this morning, he actually recorded something that I want to play now. And, you know, it's funny. I just said that there are a lot of people sharing their opinions and they don't have information. Well, Harvey is one of them. Here is a theory that he is putting out there, and he's admitting that he doesn't have anything to base this on, but there's a reason he's putting it out there.
A lot of people are saying this has to be foul play. It doesn't make sense. Well, and they're saying it because why would people hire a lawyer? Why would people 86 their texts that they may have had between Nolan and them or other people? It could be foul play, but it also, look, one of the scenarios, and I'm not saying this happened because I don't know, but one of the scenarios could be this, that they were all drinking, which one of the friends said, that maybe they were drunk and they were on a boat and there was horseplay, and Nolan either fell off the boat or was pushed off the boat during the horseplay and hit his head, went under, and they couldn't find him. And, that is a scenario. I have no idea what happened, but it's a scenario. And maybe the people who were involved in that freaked out. They thought, oh my God, he died, and we were on the boat and we were engaged in the horseplay. And they call a lawyer and they eliminate a text. I mean, it's possible. It doesn't mean it's racism. It could be just covering their asses. Or it could be racism. Or it could be foul play. The only point I'm trying to make is that people are just doing everything they can to read into things that are not necessarily readable at this point.
Okay, before Harvey recorded that, we had a long conversation about it because I felt like that was not something he should have done. Yeah. We argued about it for a while and he decided he was going to do it. And I do get his point about, and this is kind of the only reason I just threw my hands up and said, all right, go ahead and do it, I guess. He wanted to make the point about anything because it could be anything. Right. It could really be anything at this point, and people should not be forming such strong, in some cases, angry opinions about a case where we just don't know anything. And I even said, that theory that he came up with, I said, Harvey, it's like you're writing a Hollywood script. Like, could that have happened? Sure, I don't know.
I think what you're saying is, as you just said, that people shouldn't be forming firm opinions based on no evidence. The other thing maybe people shouldn't be doing is concocting theories. That in those
because
automatically
it adds to the madness.
And it's a human nature to latch on to a theory if it makes sense to you, and therefore it eventually does get to the point of creating sort of hard, entrenched feelings based on a lack of evidence. And that's what we're doing here.
Right. And so I don't know. I mean, I understand human nature that people are going to have opinions, and especially because there just isn't a lot of information that is available at this point. We know very little. We know Nolan Wells was found dead on July 6th. We know that he was out there with friends, but we also know that there were hundreds of people out on Horn Island.
We also know
so
the only thing is we do know that those text messages were deleted.
And by the way, you say text messages. We were talking about that this morning. All they said was there were messages deleted. Were they text messages? Were they WhatsApp messages? Were they Snapchat messages? Okay. I don't know. And some of that those details will matter. And I certainly hope that's what the sheriff is looking into.
Well, they're agreeing with their previous point, saying that
this is the chat.
This is our chat. Yeah, our chat's kind of seeming like that. It seems like people are just applying their own prejudices to this case, despite the autopsy really giving no information and there really being a real lack of evidence.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And I will say, as far as the race baiting phrase being thrown around, I think it is unfair to call the people who live in Ocean Springs, who are in that community, they have a feeling about whether they're black or white. They have a feeling about how race affects their lives every day, right? That's just life in the South. That's life in America, but especially in the South. And that comes from history. And so I don't think it's fair to be judging those people if they feel, and we don't know yet, but if they feel that race has something to do with either what happened to Nolan or how people are reacting or not reacting. I mean, I still think it is absurd that no one has come forward to say that where they saw Nolan after 4:30 on July 4th.
Right.
Because with so many people out there. By the way, one of those people who is speaking out a little bit now is one of Nolan's friends, a guy named Warren Hudson. He actually went back to Horn Island with a podcaster, Brandon Tatum, and Warren went out there and stood on the shoreline, pointed out where the boats were, what the depth of the water was, to sort of give people a taste of what it was like there on July 4th. But even he doesn't have any information beyond the fact that he saw Nolan out there, but he doesn't know. He came back to shore, obviously, and he doesn't have an answer about what happened to him. But a lot of high emotions running very high about this case because we just don't know anything yet.
Hello, I am Jeray Malay, and I'm from New Jersey. I think the biggest piece about all of the information that we're receiving is that it feels a little convoluted and it's not a lot of transparency around something that is now high profile. I get the idea that everything isn't rooted in racism, but when we're talking about the backdrop of the southern states, specifically Mississippi, and knowing that there is a staunch presence there, and we're talking about legal officials and how they are handling and conducting, the investigation, I think it's something to discuss. Granted, things happen, freak accidents happen all the time. But I do think that there needs to be a very serious effort to collect all of the information, be as transparent as possible with the public and people who are involved. Because again, there was an island full of people, full of cell phones and social media posts, and all of these different things that we can kind of gather and collect to kind of bring together some more, certain information. The fact that it seems slow, it seems to be all over the place is telling. Whether it's rooted in racism or it's just a lack of interest or a lack of professionalism. I think that, outside of everything, we need to have a certain level of compassion because there was a young boy who lost his life, right? On a holiday weekend. So I would like to see people not go with the theories because we actually have facts. Let's start to get to more facts.
Yeah.
Let's start to talk to the people.
The problem is there will be facts. The facts that we have at this point are so minimal, and I think that's where this is all coming from. By the way, I have to say something in defense of Nolan's parents. When people talk about people surrounding this case who are quote unquote race baiting, you cannot put that on his parents. They have not, and they've done I think 1 or 2 interviews, and they have never, ever said anything about race playing a factor in this. What they have said is they want to make sure the sheriff is running an investigation, a thorough investigation, just as he would if this were his child. And that's not too much to ask for any parent, black, white, race, take race out of it. That's what they want, and they have every right to ask for it.
Coming up.
YG, the rapper, had a showdown tonight, still does, against The Game, and then he ended up detained by police. What they told him is that this has to do with the investigation of a rapper named Draco the Ruler, who was murdered in December of 2021 here in LA.
Be right back.
Well, this was already going to be a big day for YG. The rapper had a showdown tonight, still does, against The Game for verses. That's what he woke up thinking his day was going to be about. And then he ended up detained by police here in Burbank, California, because these investigators are working on an almost 5-year-old murder case right now. And for some reason, they felt that there was reason to bring in YG for questioning. So he was detained this morning in Burbank. He was released eventually, but what they told him is that this has to do with the investigation of a rapper named Draco the Ruler, who was murdered in December of 2021 here in LA.
Yeah, he was murdered at a music festival. So what we were told from law enforcement that they were serving a search warrant on a property that is somehow connected to YG, which is why he was detained. And like you said, this has to do with that investigation. They never arrested anyone for his murder. It happened at, like you said, a music festival here in LA, which is kind of crazy. At the time, YG actually was another one of the headliners at that festival.
Right.
There's a lot of, they had different beef and stuff apparently, but he's obviously come out since and said that he had absolutely nothing to do with this. So it's unclear if they're
So the police told him it had to do with this building, this house that he owns.
Yeah, this property is in some way was connected to YG, and it was a search warrant that has to do with that investigation.
The other thing that, and this just may be coincidence, and I'm not saying that the police detained him because of this, but YG has a new album, and there's music on it apparently where he is making a reference to Draco's murder, and or just singing about the case or rapping about the case. That could just be coincidence.
Yeah.
But it is a little strange that he is detained the morning that he's going to be doing the verses, which he's doing ostensibly to promote his new music.
Well, yeah, he's doing the verses. It's like a Compton one. He's going versus The Game tonight. Yeah, I mean, it is weird. This happened, like you said, 4 or 5 years ago at a music festival. There's obviously tons of people there. And at the time, his connection with the beef with him,
yeah.
I would see why people would think he would have something to do with it. But it's been almost 5 years.
It's so strange that they just happened to, detain him on the day that he's doing this verses. And I'm sure for YG, he was thinking at the time, the hell, he's denied any wrongdoing, but suddenly the police have him and he's going, I've just got a show I got to do tonight.
It'll be interesting to see if he addresses that at all.
If he references it tonight, yeah.
Okay, so I think this is interesting. He is going through a major transit where Saturn is making a harsh aspect to his Mars, and that can indicate karmic retribution and accountability. But we have to remember being detained isn't the same thing as being charged. So it's important to let the investigation play out fully, but prayers to everyone involved.
I'm not sure how the zodiac has anything to do with this, or horoscopes, but you're right. He was not even arrested, so they questioned him for a bit and he was released. So, and he has, as we said, denied any involvement in this. So normally it is not big news when somebody gets done dirty in Washington, D.C. It's just politics. It's the way it goes. What is news here is that the person who was done dirty is talking to us about it. That's what TMZ DC does. And Congresswoman Lauren Boebert says who did her dirty, not just politicians, but a doctor or whoever it was, an esthetician who put Botox in her face because I will say this for Congresswoman Boebert, she's very open about what she is going through, although I'm not sure she could hide it because her face kind of revealed it, but here's what happened.
All these staffers are in there trying to get me to vote for the NDAA. I want to vote for the NDAA. Section 219 is still in there. It's a big tech swap between us and Israel. We don't do that with anyone. Many of my constituents have reached out. They don't want this provision in the bill. Well, the White House doesn't want it in the bill. Secretary Hegseth doesn't want it in the bill. So I'm in the back waiting for a call from the secretary. I'm told that call is coming. I'm talking to someone underneath him, and I'm told the vote's going to stay open. They closed the vote. And so now I am forced to talk to TMZ. While I do have an issue that we talked about off record, I don't want to be on camera this week, and I've been on camera more than any other week. I am talking out of the side of my mouth like a damn politician because my Botox hasn't caught up on this side. Maybe in 2 days, this side will catch up to the other side.
I get it. She wanted to lay low, but by the way, what she was talking about is the National Defense Authorization Act, and she feels like somebody hid some information from her, but she was just trying to lay low dealing with this Botox issue. I wouldn't have noticed it right off the bat, but as soon as she said it,
then you see it.
Yeah,
you see it's kind of like paralyzed on one side, which, politicians
side
are
is
just
still
like
frozen.
us. I had to look into this because I don't know anyone that's had Botox around their mouth.
I've never, by the way, normally, Charlie, you
Yeah.
don't jump into a lot of political conversations in this room.
Oh, I had to be a part of
But
this one.
the second this video came in, Charlie jumped up and she's like, wait a second, nobody gets Botox in that part of their
You
face.
don't. Why would you do that? But I did do some research. Some older women or women of a finer age do sometimes get Botox here in like their marionette lines, which will soften that. So it's a possibility that's what she got. But here's the thing. I know she said like, oh, the other side has to catch up. Usually if one side is taking more than the other, it doesn't really catch up. So I hope she
And
doesn't
you're
have
not
to deal
talking
with
about
this.
Democrat or Republican.
No,
you just meant
no.
sides of the face.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. I'm talking about the Botox. But I mean, she still looks pretty good, I gotta say.
Marionette lines?
Yes.
What are those?
These little lines right here. Yep.
Never
You
mind.
don't have them actually, Charles. You're aging pretty gracefully.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Maybe a little Botox on the crow's feet.
Okay,
though.
all right.
Hi, I'm Elise, and I live in Boca Raton, Florida, and I'm happy to be on TMZ. So here's the situation. I talk out of the side of my mouth anyway, so I don't have an issue with it. I get Botox, maybe that's my problem. But Botox normally doesn't affect the mouth, so I'm not sure where she had her Botox. It's usually, in the forehead or maybe the chin area.
Yeah, that's what Charlie was saying, Elise. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe there's something innovative going on in DC when it comes to Botox. Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Came
And
with
here's the
your own
other thing.
merch.
She said she talks out of her mouth like a politician. Isn't she a politician?
Politicians normally actually speak out of both sides of their mouth. So I think, Lauren Boebert, this is working out. Botox for everybody in DC.
Coming up.
We need some good news. And you know what? We got it today. There's going to be a 30th anniversary celebration for Destiny's Child.
These will be some unreleased songs that we've had in the vault.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Donnell Rawlings took TMZ DC on a city tour.
You know what the irony of this is? A black man takes a white person to the White House.
It's TMZ.
We need some good news. And you know what? We got it today. I had no idea this was going to happen, but I am thrilled to say that there's going to be a 30th anniversary celebration for Destiny's Child. And it includes a new release with several, almost, I think about a dozen remixed songs and maybe some unreleased material. The album is being put together, this release is being put together right now. And their former manager, I guess, is Matthew Knowles still, because Destiny's Child's not really together, so is Matthew Knowles still their manager? Well, let's find out, because he is joining us right now to talk about the 30th anniversary celebration. Actually, I'm told it's 10 to 15 remix songs, Matthew? Is that what you guys are doing?
Hey, Charles. And yes, I am still the Destiny's Child manager. Does a lot of work with licensing and putting out new content. Yes, this is the 30th, anniversaries of 30 years of Destiny's Child and Survivor. We have the Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined tribute, part 2 of that going across America now. And these will be some unreleased songs that we've had in the vault, both urban mixes as well as dance mixes, and it's time to share that. The fans really have asked for Destiny's Child to have a tour, and so I've been thinking of ways that we can give something to the fans, and these are some of the ideas.
So you're in the studio now, Matthew. This project you're working on, is it going to be an album that's released, or are they just going to be individual songs?
Well, it'll be an album. Obviously, you can stream individual songs off the album, but it will be possibly 2 albums. One, again, the urban remixes, and then the dance remixes.
Right. And you said there will be some unreleased content on there also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And which the ladies have approved, that's been in the vault, that they actually approved years ago. And now is a great time to put it out.
You got anything handy that you might want to play for us? I got to ask.
Something that I played for Charlie. You missed it, man.
Oh, you played something for Charlie earlier? Oh, great. So Charlie knows what it sounds like. The rest of us just have to wait for the album to come out?
Well, what did you think, Charlie?
Charlie, what did you think? We caught her in the middle of eating, Matthew.
On my lunch break. It was amazing. It was like old school Destiny's Child. Like, think of like Bills. It's like got that vibe. It was perfection.
Okay. Well, I don't like the fact that Charlie knows and we don't, Matthew. But so I got to ask you, when did you guys decide that you were going to do this? I know the fans have wanted it, and I'm just wondering if you were at any of the Yankee Stadium shows where Beyonce's, what's her husband's name? It's that guy? Oh, yeah. When Jay-Z was doing his 30th anniversary celebration, if that was something that inspired you to say, let's put together these songs and remix some of them for the fans.
Actually, as we are doing more and more of this Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined tribute, and I'm getting the feedback from the fans, and I remember we have all of this content, both audio content and video content that's never been heard before, never been seen before. This is the perfect time to put it all out. You have a tribute tour going out. You have new music going out. You have new video going out. We'll have new merchandise. There's no official merchandise. There's a lot of bootleg Destiny's Child merchandise, but we're looking to have official merchandise, and in the hopes also that it will impact in a positive way each of the ladies' solo careers. Michelle is just getting off of Broadway. Hopefully, and by the way, happy birthday, Michelle.
Today's her birthday?
Yes.
All right, so happy birthday.
Hopefully this impacts her career. Once you get the buzz in the industry, Kelly, I don't know if you saw her on tour, but Kelly does 7 or 8 Destiny's Child songs, and she does an exceptional job of doing it. And hopefully it enhances her opportunity for touring. So all of this has a strategy behind it.
So I hear you saying that there are no plans. You told Charlie that there are no plans for a tour of Destiny's Child. Would they do a one-off or even like 3 shows, kind of like Jay did at Yankee Stadium? Would that be a possibility that they just do a reunion show?
That's a decision that they will make, but we saw at Beyonce's last tour, Cowboy Carter, that the ladies came out and did a couple of songs. I think you'll continue to see those types of things. But I know Beyonce's working on a project that'll be out soon. That'll mean the life cycle of that'll be 3 to 5 years. That would include touring. So it's a timing thing. And that's why I thought right now is the right time to release this material that's most is unreleased, never heard. We will have opportunities for content that's never been seen before. Again, for really authentic merchandise. And the Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined tribute. A new website for Destiny's Child is out, destiny'schild.com. So again, this is a strategy that really hopefully enhances the ladies' solo careers.
All right. Well, I know the fans are waiting for it. I'll have to go over and just sort of pick Charlie's brain, I guess, for now. You have a release date yet, Matthew?
Not yet. You'll be the first to know.
Well, maybe the fourth to know. I think there'll be 3 other people.
This time, Charlie, I'm going to call you directly.
All right. I appreciate it. All right. Thanks so much, Matthew.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Coming up.
The David preliminary hearing, the hearing that's being held to find out if he will stand trial for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And something very interesting happened in court this morning. A reporter was booted from the proceedings by the judge.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. The David preliminary hearing, the hearing that's being held to find out if he will stand trial for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And something very interesting happened in court this morning. A reporter was booted from the proceedings by the judge. And the reason, and we'd heard some rumblings about this yesterday, that they believed that there was someone in court who was either live streaming or live posting, which is not allowed. We've told you that there are no cameras allowed in court, and reporters are not allowed to do what the judge said this person did, which is to post about anything going on. You can take notes, and then when there's a break, you can do whatever you want. You can post wherever you want, but you cannot do it during the proceedings. So they singled out this person in court this morning, had her stand up, and then said, you got to go. Now, what's really interesting is they said, come on back tomorrow.
That's right.
But you can't have a computer with you, can't have a device with you when you come back tomorrow. So they are sort of, slapping her on the wrist.
Yeah, but they want to send a strong message to everyone in those proceedings that you have to abide by the rules and you're not allowed to live stream these proceedings in any way. You can obviously take notes and the information does get disseminated eventually, and they're trying to balance the public's access to these trials with the need to sort of keep some sort of decorum in this courtroom.
Right. And as for testimony today, right now, as we're speaking to you, there is an LAPD criminologist who's on the stand talking about some of the things that they found in David's home.
Yeah, going into real detail about the forensic evidence that they've collected. We've heard about these blue fragments from a swimming pool that were maybe embedded in parts of the body that was discovered. Obviously, they're talking about other types of clothing that they found. This is real nitty-gritty detail about what things they discovered in David's home that could have led to the disposal of this body in this way, this horrific way.
It is tough stuff for the family. We spoke yesterday after court with the family's attorney, who said that the family was actually, Celeste's family members were really worried about today because they knew this was going to be another day going into the graphic details of what they found with her remains.
And remember, they reportedly didn't look away when they showed her body in that bag that was virtually liquefied at that point. And now to relive all of this, the chainsaws and that type of evidence, it's just absolutely traumatic.
About the chainsaw. This is what their attorney said. Because yesterday there was a lot of testimony about the chainsaw was one of the things they found in his house. They know that he ordered this
on Amazon
using an alias. But this is what the family's attorney had to say.
Celeste's parents are really disheartened, and they have a lot of problems just kind of understanding how someone like David Anthony Burke could allegedly take a chainsaw to a beautiful young girl and dismember her body and just throw her in the trunk of his car. And so it's been very hard for them.
Yeah, for them to be there each day. And they don't have to be there,
They
obviously.
don't.
But the fact that they're there, I
It's
think they're standing up.
unimaginably upsetting.
They want justice for their daughter.
I mean, our chat really does seem to think that this is for sure 100% going to trial. It's like they want it to be televised, but then again, none of us really want to see any of that, and they give their family as well as they kind of feel like that David seems a little bit crazy for just being able to sit there and watch it with no reaction. Yeah. Meanwhile, they had to go and sit through the same thing.
You know what a little reminds me of, and we've talked about Emmett Till with the Nolan Wells.
Yeah.
Remember, the mother of Emmett Till wanted people to see her son in that casket.
Yeah.
It seems like families want to see the results and see the impact on them as closure and to make sure she gets justice.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jamiria from Atlanta. I think given the details of the case, we are in a decade of exposure, but I do think people need to be respectful of Celeste herself. I don't think anybody is considering her. I feel like this is a very shocking case, and it's almost like it's rage bait because of the details. It's very shocking, and it kind of does make me emotional. I feel like she was not protected, and even in death, she's not being protected. If anybody is live streaming her case or anything, I feel like they should definitely be removed and be respectful to her.
Yeah, the judge was no nonsense about that. So I think the judges laid down the law where that's concerned as far as reporting on this. And as far as we'll see if, look, I do believe he's going to end up standing trial. It'll be interesting to see if there are cameras allowed in court for that once we get to that stage. Could be some new rules for your congressman or congresswoman to follow because there is a measure that is being talked about now in D.C. that would change the rules so that members of Congress could not date any congressional staffers, no matter whether they're on your staff or not. There actually is a rule already in place that you cannot date your own staffer, but now they want to expand this for all staffers. And this has to do with some recent investigations into members of Congress for doing exactly that. So our TMZ DC team, Charlie was out on the Hill today and saw Congressman Rich McCormick from Georgia and asked him about his staff. He had actually just been taking some photos with his staff members. And so Charlie asked him, you know, have you discussed this with them? What are the rules as far as dating in your office? And he actually, you know, everyone in D.C. somehow tries to make things partisan at some point. And this is what Rich had to say to us about his staffers dating, you know, the enemy.
Are your interns free to date across the aisle?
You know, anybody can, as long as they're not dating across the sphere of influence, they're fine to do whatever they want to. It's a free country.
What do you mean by the sphere of influence? Like dating up or something like that? Yeah, I mean, I know.
We're very, very careful about, in the military, we call it fraternization. Mm-hmm. In Congress, we call it sleeping with staff.
Right.
You don't do that.
No, absolutely. But what about, like, could they date sort of like an intern for a Democrat, say? Would you be okay with that?
They could. I mean, there's some weird things about that. Philosophically, it's going to lead to problems, but hey, you can do whatever you want.
You wouldn't judge them and their politics that they're, you know?
It's happened before.
Okay.
Happen again.
What does he mean? There's some issues with that? What? So
that's what the problem is, Charles.
That's the problem,
Right.
Rich. You can't be saying that, like, just because your staffers happen to be Republican, that they can't date a staffer who's Democrat.
Right. That's why we're in this mess where everybody can't get along with the people.
What happened to love? What happened to love,
You don't have
Congressman?
to talk about, like, your stance on abortion or something. I don't know.
But
you
I
know?
will say it is different. That used to be a thing that was even commonplace to see, that people, that people would date. They don't have to have the same exact political affiliation.
Right.
But it does seem like it's harder to do that now, just because things are so.
Yeah.
Tribal.
Who was that? Like, I mean, I remember like Kellyanne Conway and George, her husband, polar opposites politically, but then it seems like, it's not possible anymore, Charles.
Well,
how do we get back?
Certainly not in Rich McCormick's office.
No.
It sounds like he said, look, they can,
right.
But it sounds like he would definitely be judging them if they did.
Coming up.
You know the old saying, not in my backyard. That is what you've heard a lot of people saying about data centers. There is a young lady in Northern California, in the Bay Area, who put it into her own words.
I'm sure you're getting like bonuses to let this be built or some sort of, payment, which is cool, make your money, but you're killing us.
Be right back.
You know the old saying, not in my backyard. That is what you've heard a lot of people saying about data centers, that they don't want them built anywhere near their town just because of all the environmental issues that come along with it. Well, there's a young lady in Northern California, in the Bay Area, who put it into her own words. This is Sadie Cisneros. We just had to play this for you because she went to a city hall meeting in Pittsburgh, California, that is just outside San Francisco. And just listen, you know, sometimes when adults rant about this stuff, people just kind of, it drowns out and nobody really listens. But I think the way Sadie put it, she definitely got the attention of the council members.
I am advocating against the construction of an AI data center in my community and all communities. It is not a question of if data centers will use up all our water, will kill our livestock, or permanently harm our children and the planet, but it's a matter of when. And the answer is soon. Data center emissions are projected to cause over 600,000 asthma cases and 1,300 premature deaths by 2030. Oh my God, that's amazing. The long-term impacts of noise and light pollution include hearing loss, stress, insomnia, and a decreased quality of life, which y'all probably won't experience. I'm sure you're getting like bonuses to let this be built or some sort of, payment, which is cool, make your money, but you're killing us. Okay.
You're killing us. Okay. Sadie is a junior in high school, but clearly very advanced in her knowledge of what comes along with data centers, allegedly. So I don't know what the city council's decision is going to be, but Sadie is going to be on them, whatever it is.
Coming up.
Luigi Primo.
I'm a Luigi Primo. I make a best pizza.
Professional wrestler.
Be right back.
Okay, I had heard this was happening. I didn't know what to exactly expect. But yes, Luigi Primo.
I'm a Luigi Primo. I make a best pizza.
Professional wrestler. So Luigi, you were here for doing Inside the Ring with Branson and Roger, but we figured if you're here spinning pizzas, you had to come by and. So what are you spinning there? Is that actual pizza?
You asked me a very excellent question. It's a flour, water, salt, sugar, and a pre-activated yeast.
And a okay.
Double O flour. I'm stretching this out for you, and then we're gonna spin it for another 30, 40 minutes, and then I'm gonna go cook you a good pizza.
All right, excellent.
You guys have a stone oven here, right?
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a toaster oven in back there. That'll work, right?
We'll make it work.
So you're going out on the Warp Tour. You're going to be part of that?
That's right. Circle 6. We're performing at a Warp Tour. We're going to be making the pizzas and slamming opponents, all while different pop punk bands are playing and so forth.
I was wondering how that's going to work into the Warp Tour, but
yes,
all right.
The bands are going to come into the ring and also be fighting.
This is fascinating. I can see why this works in wrestling because you just get mesmerized. You're looking at the pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they look,
you're looking at pizza and then
I shoot low.
Yeah.
Or like, what's happening? I also go low.
Right.
I'm pretty much going to go low no matter what.
All right. Well, good luck, man. Great to meet you. I don't want to mess up your pizza.
You too, Paisan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Luigi.
I'm a Luigi Primo.
Okay, just never know who's going to pop in here. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, I'm Cassie from South Texas. And honestly, Beyonce getting together with Destiny's Child to give us an anniversary album is probably the best gift that they can give any millennial, any 90s baby. If it's true that they have 10 to 15 mixes in like their arsenal, it's going to be good. It's going to be epic. I'm so ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know it's right to say they're giving it to you. I think you're still going to have to pay for it. But I get the sentiment is there. Absolutely. One more.
Hey guys, my name is Kensington. I'm from the States. And honestly, right now, we're all talking about the Nolan Wells situation going on. And there's just something off about it. There is, those boys, his friend group, are the ones who know the truth. But eventually the truth is going to get out. And it is just ironic and just mind-blowing to see how his phone and his keys were in the boat. The texts were removed. Then you have, if it was accidental if it was maybe a hate crime. Nobody knows yet, but thank God we have Ben Crump, who is formally investigating all of this and requesting a autopsy report of himself by himself, sorry. And so it is just really, there's so many questions out there, and it's really puzzling, and it's really, really deeply saddening and unfortunate that this happened.
Yeah, I mean, while everyone wants the answers, the other part is that his family is just dealing with the loss, and his friends too. As you know, I'm sure a lot of them were as shocked about this as the rest of the country is. In fact, more.
Coming up.
Well, you can't say Kim Kardashian doesn't have a sense of humor, especially if that sense of humor helps her make money. She's decided that it is okay to mock the fact that she still has not passed the bar.
People are always asking about all of the work I've gotten done.
Did she even ever pass the bar?
Be right back.
Well, you can't say Kim Kardashian doesn't have a sense of humor, especially if that sense of humor helps her make money. Because she just put together an ad that for an energy drink she's promoting, I guess, probably invested in it. But she's decided that it is okay to mock the fact that she still has not passed the bar. Check out the punchline here in this spot.
People are always asking about all of the work I've gotten done. Not that type of work. They always ask, Kim, how do you do so much? Kim, how do you keep going? Kim, are they really real?
Did she even ever pass the bar?
No. I didn't pass the bar. I raised it.
Okay, all right, fun fact, because I don't know, the punchline wasn't all that funny. But apparently they asked Harvey to be in that commercial. And not as the lawyer, though. Just as a reporter, he turned it down. Probably wasn't enough FaceTime for him, so he's like, I'm not going to do it. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.